that's a good answer. It depends on the person. Okay, now you wanted to say something.
He said when the time is ready.
When the time is ready, but
30.
I want to hear.
There's no age.
Well, Wendy, how do you know when you're ready or when the time is right?
The way you know when you're ready is when you got your college education, a job that you can support your wife and your children.
Sounds good.
That was the plan.
And you wanted to say something right here, too.
Well, I was just going to say that it depends on the person. There's no like one right age or whatever.
Depends on the person. Now, I know you said you were prepared, but you weren't ready to have sex. So do you know when you think you're going to be ready to have sex?
Well, I don't even have a boyfriend, and I don't, like, they're talking about condoms and, like, bananas and whatever. I don't know what they're talking about, but I mean, I've never done that, and I've never, like, I don't know enough about that kind of thing, I guess, to be comfortable to be like, oh yeah, you know, let's do this when I don't know what I'm getting into, really.
But does everyone feel though that it's good that she knows things, but not necessarily that she's doing anything? I mean, because a lot of people feel, well, if you know this, well, you got to be having sex. Is that necessarily true though?
No.
So what's the right age to learn about sex and growing up? Anybody?
Before you
Yeah, go ahead.
Before you start getting interested in it, because you need to know before, instead of getting yourself into it and then totally not knowing what you're doing.
That's great. That's absolutely right. Lots of times parents and grown-ups, teachers, other people get nervous because young people really want to learn about these things. If you could say anything to an older person about that, what would you say?
Well, I think that I would say that it's better for us to learn now about any precautions we need to take instead of us having to go through having sex and not knowing, and then we'll have maybe a baby or catch any STDs, and then they'll say, well, how come you were so irresponsible? But maybe if we was to learn about this while we're younger before we get started, we can prevent things.
That's great. That's a great answer. Yeah.
Well, I think it's important because if you're ignorant about sexuality, then you're not like, you know, when you get older, you could end up with an STD or being pregnant, and then you wouldn't be able to know. Like, you know, you could have had the choice if you were younger and you knew about it. You could have had the choice.
That's a great
to get pregnant.
Knowing that you have choices, right? Did you want to say something?
Oh yeah. Well, in today's society, people, 12-year-old, they look a lot older than they should, so people treat them like they're older, you know.
Oh, that's a very good point. So that means you could get in trouble if you didn't know about these things because people assume you're older and you need to know what to say back. That's great. That's great. We really haven't had a lot of time to answer all your questions, but you've asked and we've talked about some very important things. We are unfortunately out of time for today, but before we leave, I'd like us to review some of the things that we've discussed. Number one, get the correct information about growing up and about sexuality and HIV. Go to the library, ask an older sibling, ask your parents, or if you can't do that, ask your teachers or your counselors. Ask somebody. They will help you.
And two, don't rely on what you've learned from friends on the street. Go check it out for yourself.
Right. Learning about sexuality, as the young people here today have said, before you make risky choices is so crucial.
And don't let other things like TV or your friends again pressure you into doing something that you're not ready for.
Trust yourself. Be proud. You're growing up, and that's just great.
And that's about it for this episode of On the Edge. We want to thanks to the great studio audience and thanks to all of you watching. And if you want to join our audience for On the Edge, please write to On the Edge, 125 Worth Street, Box 1A, New York, New York, 10013.
We'll see you all soon. Bye for now.